Good morning. I would never normally do this, but Nebo Road is so chill. I'm very happy to just film on my warm-up on it. The only traffic I've seen is cyclists so far, and Rhiannon will be behind me at some point. I'm setting off at 11:26. There is a storm blowing in. It now says 12 that it'll come in. It was saying 11. I am nervous. Never mind. Nebo Road is 3 miles, 5 kilometers at an average of 5%, but it's very much 3 or 4% for all the bits I've just done, and then 8-ish% for the second half. Look at this view. Amazing. So after its initial relatively chill open bit, Nebo Road goes through this old growth forest. This hill doesn't suit me at all, but fuck is it beautiful. I love this road as an example that Snowdonia cycling doesn't have to be my tear your face off steep terrible surface sort of climbing. You know, this is a lovely long progressive road, almost alpine. Gonna have to put my phone away again because I'm in the wrong gear. I'm doing 50 RPM, jeez. Not bad for the top of the climb, eh? Moody energy. There we go. 5.1k, 5%, 280 metres of elevation. There's the profile. You see it's a relatively chill start and then a little bit steeper for the second half. I'm not going to waste any time showing you the atmosphere and the build-up. I would love to, genuinely. I loved this event and I got some nice footage of it. But I want to do the climb in full, and that is long. I won't say exactly how long because it would be a spoiler, but you can see how long's left on this video for a feel for how long it is. So Nebo Road starts in Llanrwst, right in the town really, and you go past the school on the left, but it very quickly becomes a country road going up to, I would say, the village of Nebo, but I don't think it's even a village. In a lot of Wales you'll see on maps like places named and they're actually just, it was a farmhouse and thus there's a couple of houses around it for the support, and I think Nebo is like that. Please correct me if I'm wrong if there's anyone who's native to the area. I'm glad that I can do this in full because I've featured Nebo Road several times on this channel before in very short bits. And that's because normally if I do it as part of a ride, it's so long that it's hard to dedicate, if you ride this chill, like 20 minutes of a video so you can see all of it. But now I've got an excuse as a race, haven't I? Some people really love this climb. If you want like the beauty of North Wales without the incredible steep gradients, as I said, it's really the perfect climb for that. Certainly, I remember Cy Richardson from GCN doing a ride up it. He's quite high on the leaderboard, and him complimenting it in other videos. I've seen him say that he really likes the steadier climbs where you can still feel fast riding up them. And that's why it doesn't suit me at all. So today, my pacing strategy was very straightforward. I wanted to negative split it. Did I fuck? But my plan was to negative split it, and to be fair, normally I would be doing 350 watts here, and halfway up I would be being a whiny little baby. So I'm glad that I didn't do that. Oh, there's 350 watts, never mind. Stand corrected. But generally I'm quite happy with how I paced it. I didn't negative split it, but I didn't like horrendously collapse either. I didn't do a horrendous positive split. So I do feel a little bit hard done by. I was third from last in this event. Nothing to do with seedings or anything, definitely not. Because Dan Evans, you know, former National Hill Climb champ, Welsh, general road cyclist extraordinaire. I say road cyclist, actually. He wins XC mountain bike racing, he wins cyclocross. He's just a phenomenal cyclist. He was in this. And you know, you read the start sheet and you just go, well, I'm not touching him, so who else am I racing? But he set off like 10 minutes before me, I think. And the reason he beat me is because it started raining on me, and it wasn't really raining on him, and I think we can all agree that that's why he beat me by about 3 minutes. Just the rain. Yeah, right. Just listen to the sound of my own voice there, what a knobhead. Start of this climb, by the way, isn't in Eryri, Snowdonia National Park. Llanrwst is just about not, but the southern bit of it is. So you just saw me pass the sign on the left for entering the national park. Irrelevant, it's definitely culturally and spiritually part of the national park. I'm still on the shallow part at the moment, and I'm happy with how I've reined it in. You know, that's good for me. And importantly, I've mostly stayed seated. That's a conscious thing, because I can't climb standing for 15 minutes or whatever. So I'm almost trying to save that energy. I am much better out of the saddle, and I want to save that for myself. And also, don't forget that there's a whopping headwind on this, and there was a whopping headwind for everyone. Obviously the rain isn't why Dan beat me, but I'm not even doing a bit about the wind. Everyone had to face a pretty nasty headwind on this, so just trying to stay a little bit aerodynamic. I think here I let myself get out the saddle because it's a slightly steeper pitch. I think the rear view helps with that a little bit. The rain started getting a little bit heavier, but so far it's not causing me any problems. I was, fully unkitted in my skin suit. It wasn't cold, it was just rainy. I don't really mind. It's not a hill climb unless it's like this, is it? I was quite happy with my speed. I felt, generally speaking, like my speed was pretty good so far. But I knew that I was going to have to be fast, but also save something in the legs for when I get into the treed section, which is just coming up ahead. In my mind, the way I was pacing this, the climb hadn't really started yet. What I did here was damage limitation almost. And then from this bend, that's where it really starts climbing. And that's where I need to let myself start feeling the burn more and more, really. I think it's okay in a hill climb for your legs to hurt quite early on and you just keep pushing. I don't like when people say otherwise, but I decided that it was this point onwards that my legs could really start hurting. The gradient marker here is just well off, I think. Otherwise, the metrics are only a tiny bit out, but the gradient, not really true. I don't believe I was at 0% here. Maybe I was. Maybe I was just struggling that badly. The surface on this road is, I think, chip and seal. It's not bad, but it's not great. It was a bit of a rough ride. I could certainly feel it on my 23mm tubs that I'd inflated to 100 psi for some reason. If only some random man walking his dog had come past and told me to let my tyres down. That's an old school Burrito Titans joke. I doubt any of the people who get that even watch my channel anymore, but that is an old Burritos joke. Here, where it started getting steep, I let myself get out the saddle a little bit, and I was pretty happy with how it went so far. Can you see that blinking light up ahead? I could see someone's rear light, and there's someone's front light as well, but I knew that I was chasing someone down, and that was really helping me here, actually. I just want to take a moment to say, I know I've oversaid it almost, but this part of this climb is just so beautiful. If you ride this not as a race, it's the most peace you'll ever find whilst slogging your guts out up a hill. So I got up to this guy, doing well. I have to say, I was disappointed when I realised it wasn't my Minuteman, it was someone else, and I'm not saying that in any way disparaging to this fella, but catching your Minuteman is a thing, because that's meant to be someone seated somewhere near you, right? Whereas it's just someone else doing their own time on the climb. It's not quite the same. I don't know if he put a bit of a kick in. I quite consciously didn't kick too hard to pass him, because in the past I've sort of burnt too many matches when I do that. And he made a joke as I went past. He said, "Oh, I knew I'd end up on your cameras." And I tried to be friendly and acknowledge him, but I was absolutely shattered. And I thought, if you say anything here, you're going to come across like a prick, like, haha, yeah, you did end up on them, or whatever. Like, there's no way I could engage in that banter without sounding like an absolute knobhead. So I just sort of went, yeah. for such a long climb, it was nice to have people spaced out all the way up it. There were only 27 entrants to this race, which is tragic. Here's Rhiannon on the left, cheering me on. On the left, sorry, she was on the right. The car was on the left. She said, good time, but she didn't say anything else. And I thought, oh, I don't know what that means. I knew that from her, I was more than halfway up, but I still had a lot of the elevation to go, if that makes sense. So I didn't do any calculations in my head about how long was left. I decided that, sounds silly, but I was sitting at a pace that I probably couldn't do more than comfortably, but I could keep doing this whether there was 5 minutes or 15 minutes left. So I thought, oh, I'll just keep doing it. And then around some of these bends, I start to see who must be my Minuteman. That really was the kick I needed. Unfortunately, out of the trees, it is much wetter. So, as I pushed on here, I started noticing my rear wheel slipping a little bit. It really got in my head for a little while. I kept thinking, you know, you can't get out the saddle. How much power are you losing if you have wheel slip? I really tried to adjust, maybe to overcompensate a little bit. The reality is, the rain didn't start until about 5 minutes before my climb. How could I have known that that was going to happen? I just had to sort of adjust as I went and accept it. If you're keeping an eye on my power numbers there, you'll see that I'm kind of... You're seeing 200s a little bit more often than I would like now, but I am punching harder in the steep bits as well. So it's nice. It's nice that knowing that the end is near, I can put more power down where it's needed, but that is having an impact, and I am having to recover a little bit harder. So a less than stellar effort up here, if I'm honest. But yeah, I was sort of chasing, you can't quite see, but my Minuteman always becomes visible on little bits like this, and it was really helpful to me because I think from about here onwards, I really could have just given up. I go through this quite a lot on various hill climbs, where you hit the point of going, this just hurts so much that maybe I'll say, well, it wasn't a great day, and I'll pack it in. And it's nice for me to get one in my legs where I've wanted to say that for quite a while, and I haven't done it. I've said this before on this channel, I'll say it again. I don't like when people talk about that as being mental weakness. Mental weakness is if you do give up. I think as soon as anyone's legs start hurting, it's human to have a voice that goes, you could just stop now. Doesn't matter, you could just stop now. A mental fortitude comes from ignoring that voice. There's probably athletes who don't have that voice, but I suspect most amateurs doing these races have it. Seeing more people, seeing the supporters, you know, really spurring me on, but I knew in my head that I wasn't on the home straight yet, because the home straight, there's like a farmhouse on the left, and then I know it's kind of, I don't know, 1 to 2 minutes. That's really... Make sure you spend all your matches there. As you can see, my Minuteman's getting closer to me. I'm buzzing with that anyway. He seemed like a very nice lad. I don't know, he seemed quite young to me, maybe early 20s, late teens, but he was on a very light bike. Looked like he could have been a very serious contender. And obviously he's done a very good time up here, but really boosted me to know that I was chasing him down and I was getting there. I'll say it again, one more time. What a beautiful, just bit of the world to be in. It's very nice. By this point, I could not appreciate that. Heart rate, you know how much I hate using heart rate as a metric for anything, but it's much more in the sort of range that I would want it to be for this effort than last week's effort, where it was just astronomical immediately. Which is good, sort of means my training's coming back and I'm seeing numbers a little bit more familiar to me. So here, the temptation really is to stamp on it, to fly past this guy, but I thought, don't be that prick who flies past, blows up, and then gets re-passed again. Lovely fellow that he was, he heard me behind, and he swings out of my way. I was willing to go round, I was just being a cheeky fuck who wanted a bit of a draft, if I'm honest. I was I was hoping that I could approach him behind, get that tiny 1 second mental benefit, and then swing past him. But he moved out my way, so appreciate that. Thank you. I knew that this was the last steep bit, and I went for a stompy approach. That was all I had. Out the saddle, stompy, but I remembered that on my warm-up I'd seen these signs that said 100 metres to go, and I knew that until I could see them on the top, obviously I knew that there was more than 100 metres to go, but I knew that I would still be going uphill steep, so I needed to pace this appropriately. I'm quite happy with putting out 350-ish watts for that. This bit's longer than you think. I hope now you can see how truly wet it was. The trees gave me some respite, but yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty wet. I'd wanted in my head to gain speed on this section, and I just don't. It's a bit depressing, and it's easy to watch back now and say, why didn't you go faster here? But got to be kind to myself and remember that I simply could not have gone faster. When I show you the power profile in a sec, it's a little bit disappointing, if I'm honest, but I really do believe I gave it everything I had. There are those yellow 100 metre to go signs. There's the finish line. So I didn't sprint, but I thought at least don't just coast over it. Pushed on, forgot to shout my number. Average 325 watts for that time. Not ideal, but decent. And I came second place, which I'm really proud of. Thank you for watching, guys.
Lady is Connie. You is Nebo Roberts.
Well done!
17-4.
That's amazing! Well done, mate!
And our first open rider is, not surprisingly, Nebo. And the other positions are here on the board. So our second lady today was Alice Larkin with 6 minutes 57.
Well done, Alice!